Hello viewers, in this present video I am going to talk about drift and diffusion currents inside a semiconductor. Drift and diffusion. There are two possibilities of current conduction inside semiconductor unlike the one experienced in metals. In metals we usually experience only one type of electrical conduction, that is only drift current. But in the case of semiconductors, as we know, as we have already seen, the carrier concentration inside the semiconductors are depending on exponential terms. And usually if you take a semiconducting bar, if this is the semiconducting bar, the concentration of carriers is not uniformly distributed like the case of a metal. In metal you have equal number of carriers except the surfaces. Inside a metal you take just leave the surface. Apart from this surface, anywhere in the interior of the metal, if you take, everywhere the concentration is the same. But in the case of semiconductors, it's not so. In some regions, the carriers, if it is holes, let us say, holes may have more concentration at one particular point, and let's say here I have more concentration of holes, more densely packed. Whereas in this case, I may have less number of holes, right? So if you see the carriers inside the semiconductor, the carrier concentration is going to vary with position X. And if you call the carrier concentration as either P or N, this is going to vary with position. And this results in a new type of electrical conduction, is what you call as diffusion current. To this I will come in a moment. First of all, I will deal with drift. I will derive the drift expression. Later I will come back to diffusion. So please keep in mind, inside the semiconductor, you are going to have diffusion currents because of non-uniform distribution of charges inside the semiconductor. Okay. So let us derive the expression for drift. As there are two types of carriers inside the semiconductors, let's talk about electrons first. Electrons, I am writing the drift current density. Current density. We know this formula, current density J. J is equal to N charges E, drift velocity Vd. So this is the formula for current density due to drift of charges. You know, drift is Vd. Vd is the drift velocity. Of course, if you want, you can express it in terms of electric field through mobility. As we know, Vd is proportional to electric field, and the proportionality constant is mu times of electric field E. If you take V as a vector, J as a vector, this is going to be a vector expression. E and N are of course, N is the carrier concentration of electrons and E is the charge. Please keep in mind, we are not writing the negative sign here. It is because this current is the quantity actually. This current is only quantity, and the minus sign is representing in which direction the transport is taking place. So if you recall the water drop analogy earlier I have given, if you take a semiconductor, it's something like a two-channel pipe. Of course, joined with each other. Assume that it's a two-channel pipe, and this channel is what you call as conduction band, and this channel is what you call as valence band. So, if you imagine the upper channel with a water droplet, and if you imagine the lower channel which is full of water, there is no gap, full of water except a water bubble. So, this is a bubble, and this is an equivalent water drop. Of course, they need not be coinciding with each other. I can draw them separately here. So this is one water bubble, and there is a water droplet here, right? So both are of equal size. You may imagine this as electron, you may imagine this as hole, right? So when you lift this carrier, when you just create a potential gradient, that is by applying it, by connecting it to a battery, or physically in mechanical analogy, just by lifting one side. So if you make the pipes like this, of course, these pipes are attached. It's just an analogy. There are no pipes inside the semiconductor, right? So in that case, what happens is this electron will try to move this way, whereas the water bubble, it will try to move in an exactly opposite direction. But in reality, in both pipes, water is moving this way. That is, electron is moving downwards. But actually, this appears like a positive charge moving to the other side, right? So that is the only difference. So when you are calculating the current, how much quantity of current is flowing in this pipe through conduction band, how much quantity of current is flowing through this pipe, which is the valence band, you have to add the currents because they are two different currents. And when you take the sign convention here, and if you just say it is minus, and if you take the other one as positive, these currents are going to cancel out each other, right? One is in this direction, another is in this direction. You say just net current is zero, that is meaningless. If the same thing happens in one channel, if both of them happening inside a conduction band or both of them happening inside a valence band, then you could say the current is zero. But as these transports are taking place in two different bands, you have to add. That's why we are taking only the magnitude but not the sign. I hope the water drop analogy is clear to you. I'm going to erase. Okay, so here mu is the mobility of electron. Vd is the drift velocity of electron. Drift speed, somebody said drift speed of electron is nothing but electric field applied E outside times the mobility mu E. So if I write the drift current density J for electron is nothing but N, the carrier density of electron, E, charge of electron. In place of Vd, I will be writing mu E times electric field E. So here N is the carrier density of electrons and E is the charge of electron. See, this is strictly applicable only while calculating the drift current, because drift current is happening in two different bands. We have to take both of them as positive to count the current. And mu E is the mobility of electron. And last one, E, is the applied external electric field. Or you may say instead electric field experienced by the electron. This electric field experienced by electron. Right? In a similar manner, you can also write the other one. If you want to write the whole drift current, so we have been talking about electrons this side. So this J electron I have calculated. In a similar manner, I can calculate the same J hole. So this is due to drift only. Right? So here also whatever J I am writing is only due to drift of electrons. Diffusion part I will come to later in a moment. So this is going to be in a similar fashion. We can replace the terms. In place of N, I will be writing P. P is representing the whole concentration and E is the charge on the whole, and in place of mu E, I will be writing mu H. Mu H is the mobility of the whole and same electric field, because electrons and holes, they will be experiencing same electric field inside, so that E will be the same, right? So here I can add some more things. P is the concentration of holes, E is the charge on hole, and mu H is the mobility of hole. Electric field is same, both here and there, it's not different. So finally, what is the total current due to drift inside the semiconductor? So total drift current density. So here also whole drift current density. So don't get confused. Here we'll be using the word current and current density, but we are calculating only the current density. Total drift current density inside the semiconductor. This is going to be just the sum of both. So that is J total due to drift is going to be J whole due to drift plus J electron due to drift. See, there is going to be two more currents which I will add later, but now we are simply taking the J total. This is due to drift. This is equivalent to, I'll write this whole part first. So whole part is just a P E mu H times electric field plus, of course, J is a vector. Please remember this. J is a current density, which is a vector. Current is not a vector, but current density is a vector. And N E mu E times electric field E. By combining both of them and taking E as common, I can write this as P mu H plus n mu E into E times of E. This is going to be the J drift due to electrons and holes inside a semiconductor, right? So in place of P, you can write the hole concentration. In place of N, you can write electron concentration. Or if it is an intrinsic semiconductor, you can write in place of P and N, you can write Ni, right? So this is the expression for total current density due to drift inside a semiconductor. This is the part 1. Please pause the video. I will make a move to the next article, which is hole and electron diffusion currents. So far we have been talking about the drift. Now it is going to be diffusion. Pause the video. Okay, back to the video. Now I'll try to calculate the other one, which is diffusion current. Before this, I'll give you a brief introduction of what is meant by diffusion. There is a law in diffusion process. Actually, 2 laws are there. Adolf Fick's law. Actually, there are 2 laws given by Adolf Fick during 1855. So this man gave, we are using his first law. So first and second laws are there. So we are going to use the first law. What is the first law? It says that diffusion current flux, or diffusion flux simply. Diffusion flux is equivalent to minus d times dou psi by dou x, with the psi being concentration of gas. What is this? Try to understand. Here, of course, I have to mention d is the diffusion constant of gas. You may have a confusion. Suddenly, how you have landed in this? See, what I have done here is, I have just recalled the diffusion in gases. You know, these carriers are also something like gas molecules. They are similar to gas molecules. So, whenever there is a concentration gradient, it means if the carriers are not uniformly distributed, and if there is a higher concentration of carriers at one point of the semiconductor and lower concentration of carriers at a different point of the semiconductor, there will be diffusion, diffusion of gases from a relatively higher concentration region to a relatively lower concentration region. These gases will be drifting. So just like that here, these carriers, the charges also diffuse from higher concentration to lower concentration. So that is actually given by diffusion flux is equal to minus d dou psi by dou x. So in our case, psi is not the wave function, don't get confused. Psi is going to be the concentration of the gas. And if you apply this to our electrons or holes, either psi is going to be P. P is nothing but hole concentration for the case of holes, and it is going to be N, which is the concentration of electrons, right? So we'll be writing it as d dou P by dou x, or d dou N by dou x, right? Then what is this diffusion flux, you may ask? Diffusion flux is the number of gas molecules. As I'm talking about gas, I'm representing it in the form of gas molecules. So if you have, let me sketch it here. If this is some arbitrary function which is representing the concentration, let me say this is representing the psi, which is the concentration of gas molecules. Assume that it is a one-dimensional problem. So along x direction, the concentration of these gas molecules are like this. Then in that case, what happens is, anyway, gases do diffuse from higher concentration to lower concentration. That is the principle. So at any arbitrary point, let us say I am choosing this point. At this point, if I try to construct a unit normal area, what I mean by unit normal area, this is x-axis, and at a particular point, if I want to construct a unit normal area, so I have to take this kind of area perpendicular to the surface. What I mean is, if this is x-axis, I am putting an area of 1 unit perpendicular to this. Then, because of this concentration gradient, higher and lower concentration gradient is there, na? So when I put this unit cross-sectional area here, it need not be square, it can be of any shape, but it must be perpendicular and a unit surface area. Then if you put it there, then how many number of carriers are drifting? That is what you mean by diffusion flux. Diffusion flux, the number of carriers that are passing through a unit area perpendicular to the given direction of motion, right? So that is what you call as diffusion flux, and that number is given by this, right? When you apply the same principle to the electrons, let us say here instead of psi, I will be calling it as electron concentration. Then how many electrons are crossing a unit area at a given location? If you construct a unit area, of course, don't get confused, it's perpendicular only. So at a particular point x, if you want to know, or x to dx, let's say, within a gap of dx, within a gap of x to dx, how many carriers are just crossing that small piece is what you call as the diffusion of these carriers. And the diffusion of electrons is simply given by this d into dou n by dou x. But we are not interested in the diffusion, we are interested in the diffusion current. Diffusion current means how much charge is flowing through unit area. Recall the definition of current density. Current density, after all, J is equal to current going normal to a given area, perpendicular unit area, right? So here, this diffusion flux, D is giving you not the current but number. Here the diffusion flux is number per unit area, that is perpendicular to the direction of motion. So this number, when you multiply by the corresponding charge, if you are talking about a charge Q, let us say, if you are talking about a charge Q, so depending on the charge, this flux will become current density, right? Please try to understand. Flux is given by number by area, current density is given by current by area. After all, number times the charge. If 1 electron is crossing, 1 unit charge, 2 electrons crossing, 2 into that unit charge, 10 electrons crossing, 10 into that unit charge, right? So if you multiply by the charge, this diffusion flux is going to give you the diffusion current density, right? So please keep this in mind. This is only for explanation's sake. You don't have to write all these things in the exam. Let me erase this. Please pause the video. Okay. First I will calculate for electrons, later I will apply for holes, electron diffusion current. So this electron diffusion current is given by J, current density actually. See, everywhere I am calculating current density only, though I loosely use the word current, but actually it is current density. So J, due to electrons I am calculating, so E diffusion. This is equivalent to, using this Adolf Fick's law, the number of carriers which are drifting, it is given by minus D dou n by dou x. And as I am talking about current density, I will take E here as a charge. Okay. So you can apply this easily just by looking at a pile of charges like this. If this is x-axis and if this is representing the n, definitely electrons will be shifting towards the lower concentration region. If these are electrons, definitely this electron will try to move this way, but not to the left hand side. This electron here will try to move this way, right? So if you take the slope of this curve, you can draw a straight line here. So this is going to represent the slope, and the slope is nothing but dn by dx, or partial derivative means it is dou n by dou x, right? If you are taking at a specific point x, dou n by dou x at this location is going to tell you the concentration gradient, right? So this dou n by dou x, as you know from this Fick's law, this is proportional to the diffusion, or if you use a simple logic, the steeper the concentration gradient, the more will be the carriers drifting. Or let me explain, if this pile is like this, if it is of smaller height and less slope, in that case less number of carriers will be going. Whereas if you have a high steep, in this case you will have more slope and definitely more number of carriers will be diffusing, right? So with this analogy, I can simply call the number of electrons crossing in this direction, that number is simply proportional to concentration gradient dou n by dou x. And also, if carriers are moving this way, I must take the negative sign. Why? Because the slope is this way, so I have to take minus sign. So I can write minus sign, or simply I can say it is equivalent to some dn, which is the diffusion constant for electrons, dou n by dou x with some negative sign, right? So this is going to be the actual delete the video, please delete the video, break, gone. Okay, now this diffusion current can be calculated for electrons and holes using the Adolf Fick's law, which was given during 1855, and he gave two laws. We are going to use the first law. What it says is the diffusion flux. The diffusion flux is equivalent to minus d dou psi by dou x. What I mean is, if you have a gas whose concentration psi is represented like this as a function of x, the concentration may be something like this. Then what this law says is, if you take any x location, then within x to dx, if you construct a differential element and if you call this as dx, so within this smaller region, if you consider a unit area, it is perpendicular to this. So this picture might not mislead you, please try to understand. Within the smaller area, you are actually taking a 1 unit perpendicular surface area. So through that surface area, how many carriers are passing? How many number of the gas molecules? Actually it is given for gases. So how many number of gas molecules are crossing is simply given by this diffusion flux, and the diffusion flux is proportional to the dou psi by dou x. So in one dimension it is proportional to the concentration gradient. If psi is representing the number of gas molecules, which is the concentration, which is a function of x and time, we are not bothered about time, we are only bothered about the position, psi of x. So this psi of x is the dou psi by dou x. So this is the concentration gradient, and it is opposite with negative sign. Please observe. So the diffusion will be always towards the decreasing flux side, but not increasing flux side. So from higher concentration to lower concentration, these charges will be migrating. And this constant d is called diffusion constant, which is a constant for a given gas molecule. This is the Fick's first law. We can apply the Fick's first law to calculate the current density inside these semiconductors due to diffusion. So what we do here is, if you have a semiconducting box, there may be holes or electrons. We don't know. It may be holes or electrons. Definitely these holes and electrons will have concentration gradient. So in some part of the semiconductor, they are higher in number. In some other part, they may be lower in number. So I am talking only about one of them. It may be either holes or electrons. So because of the concentration gradient in holes, you can apply this law and you can treat the hole or electron as a gas molecule. So if they are gas molecules, definitely they will be diffusing from a higher concentration region to lower concentration region according to this Fick's formula. So this Fick's formula, you can just make an analogy. So if you want to apply it for holes, you have to replace this psi with P for holes, and you have to replace the same with N for electrons. Apart from this, remaining things are same, and this D will be constant. So that constant varies for electron and holes, right? So this is actually telling you the number. So how many number of either holes or electrons which are crossing through unit area. This is what you call as diffusion flux. But we are not very much interested in diffusion flux. We are interested in diffusion current density. So diffusion current density, you know current density, J. This current density's formula J is nothing but current crossing through a unit area which is perpendicular to the given flow. What I mean is, if current is flowing this way, so if you take any unit cross section, if area is A, let us say, then how much current is flowing perpendicular to the given area? That's what you mean by current density. See, if I take the area in a different direction, if I take the area, instead of taking it perpendicular, suppose if I take an area of this sort like this. So in that case, the normal drawn to this current is, the normal drawn to this area is this. So this is areal element ds, and current is going to be in this direction. So current is what you call as J dot ds, right? Or in other words, if you take the component of current, or if you take the component of area in the direction of this current flow, then if you take the dot product of J dot ds, that is going to give you I, or J is equal to I by area. Remember, the current that flows perpendicular to the given area is what you call as current density. Okay, I hope you understand the definition. So this current is actually the charges which are flowing perpendicular to the given area. Is it not current flux? So you can call it as current flux. Flux is something that comes perpendicular to the given surface. So current flux can be calculated as charge times charge into the particle flux. Particle flux means either hole flux or electron flux, right? Just simply by multiplying with the charge E, you are going to get the same thing, right? So I can write the current density J here as, let us say, J for electron. J for electron is nothing but charge on electron into, we know this is the diffusion flux of electrons. We know the diffusion flux of electrons, which is given by minus d dou psi by dou x, and I will be writing dou n by dou x. So this is equivalent to charge of electron is minus e. Please, you have to keep the sign here, because diffusion doesn't depend on the magnitude. No matter whether this is hole or electron, always holes or electrons will go away from the higher concentration to lower concentration. So you must keep track of the sign. And let me explain you here. Suppose if this is a hole, and if hole moves this way, you say that the current is in this direction, because current is the direction of flow of positive charges. Instead of a hole, if you expect an electron here, even electron also moves this way, but you don't call the current direction as this. Why? Because electron's current direction is this way, whereas the conventional current direction is the direction of flow of positive charge. So if electron moves this way, you will say that the current is acting in this direction, right? So you have to keep track of the sign of the charge, otherwise you will land in soup. So the problem here is you must take the sign properly. But remember, whether it is hole or electron, definitely both of them will be diffusing from a higher concentration to lower concentration. What I mean here is, no matter whether you put an electron or a hole on this mountain, both of them will be traveling towards the right hand side. It is not depending on the applied electric field. Please remember that. It is diffusion process and it has nothing to do with the external electric field. Okay. So I hope you understand this. So it is minus E times of the diffusion flux. It is going to be dN. Of course, it's a negative sign, so I'll add a bracket. It is minus dN. So I'll be calling dN as the diffusion constant for electrons times dou n by dou x, because n is the electron concentration. Similarly, for holes, it is going to be P. And minus minus gone, we are left with E dN dou n by dou x. So this is the J electron. So diffusion current due to electrons is given by this expression. This is one part. Please pause the video. I'll write it once again on the top. Diffusion current due to electrons. J diffusion, J electron due to diffusion is equal to E dN dou n by dou x. So this is one expression. If you want to do the same thing for electrons, so diffusion current due to electrons will be, due to holes will be J hole diffusion. See, this is a vector, and as we are taking one dimension, that's why I am not putting J as a vector. Already it is dou n by dou x, it's one dimension. So for one dimension case, you cannot define any vector. A vector becomes a scalar in one dimension. So similarly here, it is charge. Charge of course for hole is E, it is plus E. And you know this diffusion flux, it is going to be minus dP. I'll be taking the diffusion constant for hole as dP, dou P by dou x, where P is the concentration of holes, right? So combining both, it gives you minus E dP dou P by dou x. So this is the expression for hole diffusion current. So finally, the total diffusion current, well, I mean, let me write these things here. So dN is dN oblique dP. It is the diffusion constant for electron oblique hole. So whichever way you write. And similarly, P and N are concentration here means carrier density actually. Concentration or carrier density for holes oblique electrons, right? So these are the things known. And finally, I can write the total J as J is equal to J diffusion. Total will be equivalent to, if I sum both of them, due to electrons and due to holes, so this is going to be minus E dP dou P by dou x plus E dN dou N by dou x. So this is going to be the total diffusion current due to holes and electrons. As we know, what is the drift current? J drift, already we have derived in the previous article, that is J drift is equal to, you know, it is PE into mu P, or I think I have used mu H into electric field E plus N E mu E into electric field E. So this was the drift current and this is the diffusion current. So if you want the total current inside a semiconductor, this is the sum. So you have to add J total inside semiconductor. It is a composition of 4 currents, which is J drift plus J diffusion, right? So this completes the discussion of drift and diffusion. There is one more article left over, that is the Einstein relationship in drift and diffusion. So that part will be the last article for this drift and diffusion currents, and one more article is left over, that is Hall effect in semiconductors. With that Hall effect, we are going to complete the entire semiconductor physics. So these two things I am going to deal in the next video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.